And we are live. We are here with Balding, and Baldest all together. How are you doing today, Mr. Lawson?
I'm doing great. It is summertime for me, so everything is pretty awesome.
Summertime for you. Where are you?
I'm in Oklahoma, which the weather is not. The weather's fine right now, but like my school year is over, so.
Oh, right. Okay, so you're a teacher then.
I am a teacher, so I have a little bit more time to breathe and stuff now.
Remind us, what do you teach?
I teach English. I have been the drama director the past few years, but I am moving to a new school next year. That's a little bit closer to where I live because hopefully my wife and I will be having kids in the near future. So nice. The hope is to so I'm moving closer to home to be closer because right now I have like a 45-minute to 50-minute commute. Oof. And I'm moving to where I'm going to be like 20-minute commute. So a lot better.
So you do plays and stuff like that with your students?
I did. I was the director and everything, but now I'm just going to be teaching English, but we'll still read a play because plays are fun to read in class.
You're going to act it out, aren't you, in the class?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay.
What you do.
So I just wanted to interrupt real quick because we have a new logo.
Oh, let's see.
How exciting.
Live and in Technicolor for people old enough to know that phrase. Ta-da.
Oh, wow. It's all fun and games until you enter the ball dome.
So you got rid of the little cartoon men and just use our pictures?
Yes.
Is that wise?
Well, I was trying to blow that up for the Comic-Con this weekend, and it was so pixelated because it's such a small file that.
Oh, yeah.
And my boss is in China this week, so I had time at work to do it. So therefore, this is what I accomplished today.
Awesome. Nice. It's good to see. I'm glad my tax dollars aren't paying your salary, but I'm glad your tax dollars are paying mine. So keep that in mind.
So I did learn my boss actually follows me on Facebook and Instagram, so I have to be careful what I post there.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure she doesn't watch YouTube.
You gotta change the little icon up in the corner there, Michael.
Yeah, well, that's next. Technology's not my friend.
That's all right.
We just got now where we have the people's comments are showing up on the screen, so
I know that's kind of cool
too. They show up just like in the corner like that.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the new and improved. So, woohoo!
Oh.
But anyway.
Yeah. So, Dave, what grades do you teach?
I have taught 10th grade, and I was the high school director. Now I'm going to be teaching 9th grade this next year.
Is that going to be more difficult as they're younger? And
no, I taught 7th and 8th grade for a while, and it was actually
they're really the worst, aren't they?
No, they're actually great. So the thing is that when they're a little bit younger, they are more eager to actually be there and listen to you and learn things. And the old I've had some great juniors and seniors in drama, but teaching juniors and seniors in a regular class, it's English class with juniors and seniors, they're kind of oh, why are we even here? We just want to graduate. So the younger they are, a little bit more eager to be there they are.
Yeah. Well, drama, the reason the guys are in drama is because the girls are in drama and they take it seriously because that's how you get a date for prom.
That is sometimes the case.
Nope, that's the case.
So anyway, tell us about Havoc of War, Pawns of War.
Havoc of War. Havoc of War.
Yeah.
So yes, I am here. I published this book last year, The Envoys of War.
Never seen it. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Neither have I. I don't have two copies. Right.
Mike doesn't know what this book is. It is a snarky, witty fantasy adventure with some D&D vibes. that I like to say kind of has some Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which was, I thought, a very good movie, mixed in with The Witcher to some extent, especially like the Geralt and Dandelion dynamic. And then people have compared Corden, one of the main characters, to Jack Sparrow in terms of his ability to come up with fantastic ideas. But published this book last year, and I now have the prequel novella, The Pawns of Havoc, that is about one of the side characters in Envoys. His name is Cork. He shows up about 2/3 of the way through and has a pretty big role in the last part of the book. And I wanted to write sort of his origin story. This is a darker and like more kind of traumatic story. There's still my normal Dave wit and humor, because I don't think I could write a whole book like that. But it is a darker story. There's some things that happen in it that I wrote it, and some of the beta readers were just kind of like, this is sad. Why isn't it just funny like Envoys? It's sad. I'm like, well, it's a novella. I want to do something a little bit different with this one. So comes out tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited about it. I like the cover quite a bit. And even put some little like blurb quotes on the back to make me look fancy and cool.
Can you hold up both of them side by side?
And is that a hardback copy you have for?
These are both hardcovers right here. Yeah, I've got paperbacks too, but I really like the way the hardcover looks with Pawns.
Nice. How many words is Pawn?
27,000. So, mid-length novella. I didn't really want to go too long with it, but I think I originally was like about 20K, and then as I was writing it, it went a little bit further than that. But just, it's fun. One of the things I liked with writing a novella within the same world was kind of getting to explore some things that might not be in the full stories, or like as I'm writing it, as I wrote it, there were some little things that I thought, okay, I've got to bring that into some of the later books in the series because I like that idea. And so like Cork was already going to be in more books as the series goes on, but some of the other characters that I wrote into Pawns, I've kind of started having ideas of moments where they could pop up in later books in the series just to kind of bring those little connections back together. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for it to get out there.
And I'm just blanking on who is the woman main character in Envoys?
Jen.
For the life of me, I'm like, I know her name. I just listened to this book.
Not Jen. There have been people who thought her name was Gen because it's spelled Gen. But it's like shortish for like Genevieve or something like that. But yeah, Jen, Corden, basically the only character in Pawns that is in the Envoys of War is Cork. None of the other characters. Well, and Cork's mother is not in the book. Eat your dinner. Oh. My wife is over there adding her 2 cents from the kitchen table.
That should be on the back of your book as a blurb. He is not in the book. Eat your dinner.
Well, my wife's blurb for my first book would be something along the lines of, there are no dragons.
Oh, that's always a mistake. You got to have the dragons.
So there are enhanced animals, and she's been very adamant that I need to have some enhanced flying lizards in some later books in the series. So they're not dragons. They're just lizards that can fly, that are basically dragons, but not dragons, because I told her I'm not going to do dragons.
So, Ro, I just had an idea. We should do shows where we get the spouses of the writers on to talk about the books.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Except for you can't have my wife on. But
I
think
can go ahead and tell you her thoughts. So Envoys, Cordon's annoying. There aren't dragons. She likes Tobias and Avelia. She thinks they should get together.
Tobias.
Mhm.
Oh, did not like him at all.
Well, Audrey in the chat is going to come after you as well because she's the biggest Tobias fan in the history of the world. Yes, Caitlin probably would like it if I would write an Ice Dragon romance. I'll try to write a Dragon Romantasy next. That is, and I'll get there. I got to think of a name. It's going to have scales of passion and flame or something like that.
Ooh,
It's nice.
look at that, right off the top of the head. No, I think Mike, I think you're right. We should talk to the significant others of our writers just to find out what kind of neurotics they are when, at different points in the writing process.
Gen.
Only a lunatic would think Gen is pronounced Jen. Yeah, I can go with that. It's hard to get those nuances through in a text, but that's all right. GIF, doesn't matter.
So, Dave, tell us about the play that you did just a few weeks ago.
So, the last time I was on this show, Ro, I was being you, but with less hair. And Maya, who's in the chat, was the person on the hot seat. And I was basically half asleep trying to be you. So actually pretty much you.
You nailed it. Yeah, I was going to say, you freaking killed it.
After the show,
I just got home from a dress rehearsal. We did Clue. And so I think that was on Tuesday or Wednesday, and my first performance was Friday. So I got home at 6:55 and the show started at 7 and I hadn't eaten anything and I was very sleepy. I mean, not that far off. Not that far.
I think the amount of hair you have here is probably, we're there.
So I have to tell you, Dave, I felt so bad after the show. I'm like, man, I should not have had Dave. I could have just, let him, go home and sleep or eat or, anything else. I felt bad. But then, I was like, it's Dave.
Yeah, it's Dave. Dave
I never feel bad for Ro. Why should I feel bad for this schmuck?
I would have said no if I didn't want to do it. So.
Well, what you were really thinking is I may as well. Nobody's watching. Yeah, it'll be okay.
What I really thought was, oh, poor Maya. I don't want to make her just talk to Mike for an hour.
That's very fair.
That is noble of you, sir.
It would have been, I'm out of questions, Maya. Anything you want to say? And then I stare at the camera. So, it's probably for the best.
So what are you working on now then?
So I have started writing the second novel in the series. So that's something that I'm getting going on. I've done some of an outline. I've written some of the first few chapters. I need to do a little bit more outlining to figure out what's going to happen in some of those early chapters, because I kind of hit a point where I was kind of like, I'm writing stuff, but I don't know where this is going. I need to take a step back and try to figure out where things are going. I'm not like a plotter where I have everything set up for the whole book, but if I don't do anything at all, I just start writing things. And then what happens is I have all the characters just go random places. And I'm like, well, that's 30 pages. That doesn't make any sense to where the story's actually going. Like this novella, in the first draft, the whole second half of it was going in a completely different direction away from where I needed it to go. And I just kind of okay, this isn't really serving a purpose. So I cut most of the second, I cut the second half, about half of the novella, and rewrote the whole second half of it to actually fit the story. Because it's a novella and I didn't really have time to have them go on a big side quest in the middle of their little straightforward quest. In Envoys, it's very much kind of there's this quest. oh, look, here's the side quest that becomes the real quest. And with this one, I didn't really have the time within the pages, and also didn't really want it to be the same story of like, go on quest is not real quest, here is new quest. I want it to be like, this is the conflict, and it stays the conflict.
So you wrote the playthrough version.
What?
You wrote the playthrough version.
I mean, I wrote the...
Get into Elden Ring, and you're going to go find the Elden Ring and be damned everything else and get there.
So the big difference is like, Envoys is a little bit more of like, here is this setup. Jen and Corden are going on this mission. Jen is told that Corden might be a spy and that she needs to keep an eye on him, and that the mission is not really important at all. It's kind of a sham, and she's really just supposed to be watching him to see if he tries to betray the nation. And then as they go out onto their mission that Jen knows is not really a real thing, they come upon some different things that lead them to something that actually is really important, that becomes the mission of the book. Here, this is more of I wanted to explore kind of what happens whenever you put people that maybe are somewhat good people, at least a few of them, into a situation where it's kind of like, who would you kill to protect the people you love? Like, if you're told, hey, you need to go kill those people who may be innocent, normal, everyday people in order to save the people you care about, are you going to go do that? Or are you going to let the people you care about die? So Cork is, in the novella, put into a really difficult situation from the get-go of a job where he is supposed to kill people. And if he doesn't, the people he cares about are going to be in danger / probably killed on their own. So kind of that thing where, if you think about it, just you yourself, would you go kill 10 random people to save your close family? It's a tough decision.
No, I just have two brothers. The answer's no.
That's the Kobayashi Maru right there. That's a no-win scenario. You're not getting through.
I mean, it's kind of a no-win scenario to where, like, in it, Cork and his crew kind of like, they know that, this is not really like fun and games of like, yeah, yay, we get, well, one of them maybe is a little bit kind of like, yay, we get to go kill people. But in general, like, he's like, I don't really want to kill these random people, but it's what I need to do. And so there's a lot of like back and forth and trying to figure out like what to do when you are put into a kind of a no-win.
Family member of those 10 random people had to kill your family to protect them.
What if the family members hunt down you afterward? And that's like a whole revenge. I got a new novella series here. Yeah. One novella for each of the dead people's old family member hunting Cork down.
Nice. So
I'm just kidding. Like, I'm not going to tell you what actually happens as the novella goes on. If people get killed, etc. That's something you'll have to read the little 27,000 word novella to get to. But I wanted to explore kind of like these situations where you're put into a situation where there's really not an easy fix or a way out that doesn't involve doing horrible things. But it's a comedy, a little bit still.
Oh,
there's still some funny parts.
A very, very dark comedy.
Very. My God. Yeah.
So I have some silly questions for you.
All right, let's go.
The first one, I couldn't wait to ask this question. What would the title of the unauthorized biography of Corden be?
Let's see. Of course, milady would be the of course, milady, The Story of a Scoundrel.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fair.
This is actually gonna be for the people in the chat here. This is the first time anyone outside of like my private writer group friends have heard this. So you guys I'm not going to tell you the whole title for the second book, but I'm going to tell you that the word scoundrel is in the title. So I'm going to be referring to it as scoundrels a lot. So
okay.
You heard it here first on Bald&Balding, which, have you gotten to 500 subscribers yet?
No.
Thank you for reminding us of that painful fact.
We're redoing our logo, because,
That's right, because that'll help.
I'll plug you guys whenever I go on all the other shows.
And you need to be like, yeah, Bald&Balding, and just, prime people by rubbing the top of your head when you say it.
Bald&Balding. There's one person in this world that I want to thank for these books. Mike Regine, that's your new middle name, Molman.
Why not?
Mike just was there from the beginning and just taught me everything I know about writing.
Oh, sure. Blame me.
Did you listen to him is the question.
I looked at him and I thought, he doesn't seem like a reliable source, and I moved on.
As a teacher, Dave, does your work in the classroom influence your very dark books where killing people has become kind of a game? How much of that do you take out of the classroom? Or
what I would say is that
relief?
My books are very much kind of PG-13. I don't go way overboard with like huge amounts of language. There's not any sex or anything like that. There's violence, but it's just kind of your traditional fantasy violence of like, yes, some heads get lopped off and some arms get cleaved and stuff.
That fool's gonna die.
Maybe some people get whipped to within an inch of death. Nothing too crazy, but just
maybe they're held over a cauldron.
Like I said, it's a comedy.
Skin falls off, but nothing too bad.
It's pretty funny.
Maybe
some mild PG decapitation. Like sometimes friends just like whip their friends within an inch of death.
Very Deadpool.
Oh, don't mind me. I got
kicked out and come back already. That's
good.
All right.
Mike's
You got
really
something else, Mike?
something on the side of his computer.
No, I opened up the sci-fi questions instead of the fantasy questions. So
well done. I thought I was interrupting you. I thought you were getting ready to say something, and I interrupted.
Star Wars. Next question.
Yeah, I was looking at the Pew Pew shirt.
It says pew pew.
So
Vroosh beep boop vroosh.
A stormtrooper and a red shirt get into a gunfight. Who wins?
Neither, obviously. They both die.
No, the stormtrooper wins because he can't hit the red shirt, but the red shirt has a heart attack anyway because he has to die.
Have you guys read Red Shirts by John Scalzi?
No.
It is a really it's very experimental, but a lot of fun. Like it is set from the perspective of basically red shirts who are on this ship who they're really worried they don't want to go on an away mission because people don't come back from the away missions. Now, the lieutenant and the captain, they come back every time, but the normal people, something horrible happens to them every time. So it's just kind of like the normal everyday people on the ship doing everything possible to avoid going on the away missions. But there is like there's some twists as to why everything is the way it is, but it's a great experimental sci-fi book. I love John Scalzi in general. I think he has some fantastic books. So someone that I will always read.
Okay, we might as well get the question out of the way, Ro, so you can laugh
Go
at it.
ahead, if you must.
So, have you heard the question before? If you're riding down the main street of your city, would you rather be in a saddle riding a T-Rex or a Griffin, and why?
I have. You've asked this question so many times. I'm pretty sure I answered it last time. I know what the correct answer is. It's obviously a Griffin. Just to make you mad.
Dude, he was talking about dragons and everything at the beginning of this 25 minutes ago.
I'm a
I
What
knew
is,
then
yeah, there
that
will
if you
be
asked
no
this
dragons
question-
in my books.
But will there be Griffins?
No.
How about T-Rexes?
No.
Why?
Okay, I don't need to read anymore.
The only book I can think of that has a T-Rex that I plan to read is Partial Function by Joe Byrne, which I have. I just haven't read it yet.
So is that the case behind you all like your TBR or what?
Yes, this is my TBR. My favorite book of all time. So not my TBR. Count Monte Cristo.
I think he's talking the other shoulder, but that's okay.
Oh no, those are my wife's books that are dumb and stupid and no one cares about them. This is my copy of The Envoys of War that was leather bound by Alex Schuerman. He does this in his spare time, and he did a copy for me with boots and wine and hats.
Nice.
And swords. But yeah, those over here, there's like DVDs and some of my wife's like Born Identity books and stuff like that. Apparently, I think Harry Potter is stupid. I don't actually see any Harry Potter over there. It looks like Born Identity to me.
Do you actually think Harry Potter is stupid?
No, I really liked those books. So I didn't read them when I was like growing up. I think the first one came out when I was probably like 14, but I didn't read them till I was 24. And my younger brother, who's 12 years younger than me, was really into them. And then I read all of them when I got really sick whenever I was 23 or 24 and couldn't do much for a few weeks. And I read the entire series in that time. And I really enjoyed it. I don't really care for the author, but that's neither here nor there.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Who was the hero of the series?
Of Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Ron Weasley.
How so? I
Because
don't
he's my
mind a
favorite
different
character.
answer, Mike. Mike, I don't mind if people don't pick the answer I picked. I just want to hear their rationale for it.
I mean, Ron Weasley because he's my favorite character. Now, if
Ron
you're going to
Weasley's
say,
your favorite character?
Ron is amazing. Ron's hilarious. Ron is
Okay.
like the most dense guy ever, but he's always there with like some kind of hilarious comment. I love Ron. He's very himself. He's honest. I'm going to say Neville Longbottom is the hero because from the beginning, like you don't even really realize he actually is the one living the hero's journey in the background. He's the real chosen one. Harry has stolen his fame, but finally at the end, Neville takes the sword. He saves the day, and he is the actual hero at the end of it. And Harry's just walking around thinking about how he's really sad and stuff.
I can't buy the Neville thing. I could say okay to Ron Weasley, right? I've said okay to a bunch of different things. Neville, though, is just like he had that one moment.
I mean, if you think about it, the whole second half of the series, he is trending toward moving that direction. So he starts off so feckless and has no clue what he's doing. And then as the books move on, he gets a little bit more confident with each book and he's able to do a lot more things. And by the end, he's really one of the real heroes of it all, who has come the farthest. He has that tragic backstory. His backstory is more tragic than Harry's. Like, he has the true hero's tragic backstory. Harry's parents died, whatever, they're gone. Neville's parents are still alive, but don't know who he is and are stuck forever in a hospital because they've been completely
But Neville's not living in a closet.
I mean, Neville probably didn't have a great childhood, but he's the real hero.
But he probably wasn't actively abused either.
I mean, the thing is, a good hero doesn't need to be abused. They just need to have a traumatic background.
They need to lose their parents if it's going to be on Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost his parents to
We can all agree on that.
magical hospital.
So I'm Ron Weasley. That was not expected. I like that answer.
I mean, he's just my favorite one. But I think Neville, you could make a case for him being the true hero behind it all.
So you actually wrote, you've never asked me.
Did you actually read the books?
Of course.
Did you? Because some of them are very, very long, Mike.
Yeah, I know. This was before I got into my, starting my 6th decade of life, when I'm like, life is too short to read 500+ page books anymore.
So what's your answer, Michael? This is something new we've never explored. Huh?
Hermione.
Hermione?
Yeah.
Hermione's pretty great. Of the 3 main characters, Hermione and Ron are 10 times better than Harry.
Harry's a boring character.
I mean, there's only one of the 3 that's competent. So,
Yeah. It just, Harry annoys me because he had that really cool spell that he learned from that book.
Sectum Sempra.
Yeah. And then he never used it again.
Expelliarmus!
This dude's trying to kill you and you're trying to take his wand. You're a dipshit. But anyway.
I can't argue with that.
And I'm Team Tim here on this comment. Yeah. He probably did have the biggest arc of all the. I'll give you that, but still not the hero.
I knew Tim was wrong about a lot of things, but
he still has a lot of hair, so you got to question his comments.
I actually don't know if I've ever seen the top of Tim's head because he's always wearing a hat.
Oh, he showed us briefly the other night. I mean, you couldn't see anything because it was Cousin It was still up top because he has so much hair.
Wow, you're going to lose half of our audience there with that reference, Mike.
At least. Okay. So, if you could have any mythical creature as a pet, which one would you choose and why?
If I could have any mythical creature as a pet, so there's really only one correct answer with any kind of situation like this. If we're talking Greek mythology, it's Cerberus because dog.
If it's Harry Potter.
Or Fluffy if it's Harry Potter. If we're talking like Norse mythology, it's like Fenrir the wolf because dog. Yep. Basically, give me a big fluffy dog and we're good to go. So like in my series, we have the Wolven, which are big fluffy wolves that people can ride on, but also they're good boys that probably you could play fetch with and everything like that because dogs are amazing. And that's why I DNF'd Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Because the dogs keep dying and I was very sad.
Oh, I read it, but it was just very, very slow.
Read faster.
I'm not going to read any more in the series because, God, it goes at a snail's pace.
So sneaky, man.
One more question for you. It's 2-parter. What fears do you have? And if 2 bald YouTube sensations offered you fame and fortune, would you face it?
All right. My biggest fears. Well, my biggest fear overall is disappointing my wife.
Good answer. Good
I
answer.
do it every
Okay,
day.
hold on.
My biggest fear.
I lost all this connection for like 10 seconds, and I came back to I'm disappointing my wife. I didn't hear any
I said my
contextual
biggest
clues.
fear is disappointing my wife. I do it every day, but it's still my biggest fear.
But you said you're gonna try to have kids soon, right?
I'm
They have pills for that, Dave. I understand at a certain age, but
I'm not a
don't
very
do
good
it.
listener
Don't
sometimes.
do it,
Like
man.
she'll say, like, all right. So for example, tonight, I was supposed to put the spaghetti squash in the oven to cook that for dinner. Like, so she got home from work, it was ready to go. And I put it in there. And then she came home and she opened it. She's like, oh, you didn't put any water in the pan. And I was like, oh, was I supposed to? And she said, well, yeah, that's what I told you to do this morning. And I said, oh, well, I just looked it up online to see how you're supposed to roast spaghetti squash. So that is my example of, yeah, she says a lot of very wise things. And I'm like, all right. And then I forget about them. But I'd say my biggest fear is just terrifying things and like hiding behind doors or like hiding in showers. Giant spiders named Francois like biting you as you walk. So whenever I was a kid, I walked into the bathroom and a spider walked up onto my foot, and I was terrified of spiders for like 2 years and wouldn't go barefoot into the bathroom. I'm fine with spiders now, but in general, not a huge fan of, I don't like horror movies. I don't like jump scares and like creepy things like popping out at you. So like my biggest fear, I'm going to say it here, it is Ro popping out from behind a wall and going, ah!
You can only see me from here up. I don't, pop out of places generally. My buttons might pop out somewhere and smack you in the head, but that's about it. So, no fear on that note. So.
I agree, SR. That is terrifying to think of Ro popping out and going at you.
So
nightmares. I apologize, chat. You guys are all going to have nightmares tonight about this.
So, I now dream of one day bursting out of the birthday cake for you, being scantily clad.
Please don't.
Just to give you a new fear.
Don't even say it. Literary agents. Nice, Herman.
Okay. Have you had any really weird jobs or tasks that we need to know about?
I've worked in a lot of restaurants, and I did some senior care briefly, like where you go and like help them clean their house and stuff. I hated that. And then I taught preschool while I was getting certified to teach, and then I've taught junior high and high school. So no, not really.
Okay, so what's the weirdest thing you ever put in the food before you brought it out to someone?
I never put anything weird in the food.
What's the weirdest thing you ever saw someone put in the food that you brought out to someone?
I honestly don't know that I ever saw anyone do that. I feel like that's one of those
You're suspect
tall tales of where people
talk about.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's one of my drama superstars. And yeah, drama club. So, I'll tell you the weird job then. My drama kids all the time, whenever we weren't going to have rehearsal, just wanted to do Just Dance. And so they'd put up YouTube videos of Just Dance and dance to like the YouTube video, trying to do trying to replicate what the people on the screen were doing, and they'd get really into it. Some of the songs they picked were weird.
And as the teacher, were you kind of obligated to do this as well?
I can't dance, so no, I would just make fun of them and mock them because that's what teachers are supposed to do.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
The teachers, Mike.
Yeah. Molding the next generation.
Mocking the next generation.
That's right. Well, they need it now. You know, they don't, most of them don't have big families. You know, they don't have all the older brothers and stuff to do that job for them. So
I'd say there's probably still quite a few that have big families and older brothers who mock them. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, that is how I show love, is by mocking and like being sarcastic toward people. So if I like people, I'm probably going to be sarcastic toward them and like mock them.
Now, you've been a perfect gentleman tonight. Don't know what that means. Guess that tells you what.
Because Mike, you and I were basically the same person.
Oh, I feel so.
I don't trust him. He's got too much hair.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, it's not quite McKay level of distrust, but I mean,
right, if you can braid it, you are just out there.
And if you can braid both your hair and your beard, I mean,
yeah. Sorry. I always thought teachers should encourage and inspire. Oh, that's adorable.
I mean, yes, you encourage and you inspire while also being sarcastic. That's what you do.
Come see the violence inherent in the system. Help, help, I'm being oppressed.
Tim, the next thing you have to say is it's a burden to be so beautiful, you know, to really, you know, ramp up the care that people will feel for you. So anyway, I have some dice.
Oh God, no.
Let's go.
So who is going to be in the Bald Dome?
You know, last time I think I picked Corden, which was fun because he has no combat ability. But this time I'm going to go with Cork, who is the 6'11" dude with an axe.
Well, he doesn't get his axe.
Oh, well, 6'11" dude who is still probably pretty strong.
Well, I mean, he may get an axe, but he doesn't get to bring it with him. So it's not going to be his favorite axe.
11?
6'11". He's a big dude.
He should fight a Samboni.
You know, I was on Creature Creation, and I don't think I've ever seen the drawing of our creature.
Which one was yours?
I don't even remember now.
Well, if you could tell me, I could pull it up. Unless it was very recent. But anyway, so Cork, I pulled up the wrong Bald Dome. My bad. Give me a second. We have the new and improved, new Bald Dome. Whether it's improved is, you know, up for debate.
The other night, Mike and I were on All Caps, and we got to see how real professionals go about one of these shows. And we took notes.
Wait, are you calling Tim McKay a professional?
Well, I'm comparing it to us. So, yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
We took notes and then said, let's just make sure we don't do any of this. And here we are on brand with Mike looking around for something.
If you want to see a real professional, watch on the Willow Wraith Press YouTube channel, Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon with Dewey Cox. That's a great movie, by the way. But his name is not that. With Dewey and Bill.
What's it called?
Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon on the Willow Wraith Press. Bill is not professional, but Dewey has this amazingly professional beard, and he has this glorious, like, deep voice, and he's like the father you never had. And he just, like, he's amazing. Like, you should watch the show just to watch. Just
to feel even worse about myself? Yeah, I'll do that.
Feel even worse about yourself. They've got a wheel of the wheel of Schmudgeon or Curmudgeon, I don't remember. And then based on the wheel, they ask a question based on it.
Nice.
Beards are okay for some people, not for you, but for me or Dewey, definitely.
Okay, so Dave, Cork has been transported to a fairy glade. So this is the
fairy glade?
Yes, let me tell you about it. The moonlight bathes the glade in a soft glow where tiny winged creatures flit between oversized mushrooms and crystalline flowers. A soft haunting melody plays from nowhere, and the air smells of honey and wild lavender, as opposed to cultivated. Anyway, hidden in the hollow of the ancient oak, silver coins and enchanted rings glimmer faintly, guarded by iridescent foxes that vanish at the slightest movement.
Sorry, I zoned out. It was description.
That's okay. What is your favorite color?
Green.
You have a green fizzy potion, and I will look and see what it does and not tell you. Okay. Now, do you want a common item or do you want a weapon for Cork?
He wants a weapon.
He wants a weapon. So instead of an empty wooden tankard, he gets a war pick.
He will take that.
But he was going to face an elephant and her calf with that empty wooden tankard. But instead, with his war pick, he will face a pack of werewolves.
All right, he's down for that.
In the fairy glade with his green fizzy potion.
What are werewolves doing in a fairy glade?
What is Cork doing in a fairy glade?
Right.
Looking for a pub.
Yes. that tankard would have been just the thing for you.
Okay, so there's all these iridescent foxes that disappear when you see them. We're going to call them Zax. And yeah, what Cork is there looking at the wildlife, wants to see the foxes because they look pretty, and he doesn't think they'll all die. As he does, he finds a tree with some treasure in it, and lo and behold, he hears some snarling behind him, and there's the pack of werewolves. And should I roll for it, Ro?
Sure. I don't have any dice.
12 or 20-sided die for werewolves.
Oh,
count.
12.
Okay, there are 6. There are 6 werewolves in a pack, snarling at him with him and his war pick, as he's guarding the disappearing foxes and the treasure. What happens next?
So Cork being Cork, the first thing he's going to do is chug the potion because he's thirsty.
Nice.
I love that casual indifference to consequence.
So it is a fighter of love. It causes the drinker to fall deeply in love with the next person they see, which is the lead werewolf.
So he looks out, he sees the lead werewolf, and he goes, "Okay, lassie, looking quite fine. Fancy you won't go to the pub with me? My man was over there at the pub. We could go to the pub, get some fish, go to get a chippy, what do you think?"
I have to ask you first, this werewolf that he is now in love with, does he notice that she has a beard?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He just sees her sparkling amber eyes.
Okay. So the werewolf
he's not that shallow, Mike. She has a lovely personality.
So the leader just snarls at you, and the other 5 just start approaching closer and like trying to surround you like a semicircle.
Cork is going to decide that his lady love is in danger from these other rapscallions. Nick hates all of my accents.
Don't dislike our video because of him, man. Come on.
I'm not going to do any more accents, Nick. I can't do a Scottish accent anyway. But Cork is going to say, "I'm sorry, my darling. I will save you from these buggers who are trying to attack you." And so he goes forward with his war pick to fight off these brigands that are attacking his woman.
Okay. Ro, what do I need to roll?
Well, he's 6'11". What's a war pick? Oh, like a pickaxe kind of thing?
Yeah, but long. Like you can get people on horseback.
Okay, so he's already got reach at 6'11", and this thing, swing that in an arc, I would think probably a 14 to hit, and anything above an 18, you hit more than one.
15. Look at that. Starting off strong. Don't worry, it will disappoint you.
You're very lucky you didn't swing that thing around and hit yourself in the back with it, because that's how Mike rolls.
Okay, so the closest one is down. The rest are a little hesitant because that's some really long reach there. So in my reading of your book, I kind of thought that Cork was kind of heavy set. Yes? No?
I mean, he's muscular. I wouldn't say that he doesn't have any fat on him. No.
So he's not Andre the Giant.
No. He's a big ol' dude, but he's definitely like all muscle.
Okay.
Audrey refers to him as Hot Cork whenever he has hair in the novella.
Did you ever think of putting him on the cover without a shirt?
I didn't do that on the cover, but I did a post on Instagram that was like he's a 10, but she's a 10, but and the one of Cork, the best picture I could find of a guy with a double-sided axe on like the stock images. Well, I found a one-sided axe and I used my amazing Photoshop skills to make the axe double-sided, but he's a shirtless dude with an axe. So basically Audrey got her wish.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. Monty Python.
Okay. So the werewolves, one of them at least, is feeling, kind of spry, wants to get up in the pecking order. So he dives after Cork. And I rolled an 8 for him. So what happens, Ro?
He misses.
Okay, so he just misses. He's now behind Cork because he kind of dove. But now he's sprawled on the ground because he missed. So what is Cork doing now?
So he's on the ground?
Yeah.
He is going to
Who's on the ground, Mike?
The leg.
The werewolf who missed.
Oh, the werewolf is on the ground or Cork is on the ground?
No, the werewolf dove at Cork. He missed, and he landed just off to the side of Cork.
All right. Cork is going to do a double thing. He is going to step out to smash that werewolf's head down with his boot while also swinging his war pick at one of the other werewolves.
13 for the boot, 14 for the swing.
Okay. Boot, 11.
He
Swing,
dodges.
18. So another one is down and gone, but the one who was on the ground, he rolled
You
away.
said 2. And 18.
Yeah, you get 18 because there were like 4 left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so you may have just gone straight through one and into another one.
So that's 3 are out of commission. The one who's on the ground rolled away. So he's up on his feet now. You have one more, and then you have the love of your life, who is just, what the hell is going on here? And it's just kind of staring. So so that means there's 2.
So wait a minute. Why isn't this other werewolf doing anything? Just because he's making googly eyes at the werewolf doesn't mean that she's responding.
There's a serious connection here, Ro. Just because you hate love doesn't mean that they aren't allowed to have this moment.
Look, I'm not believing it's love until you're sniffing her butt. Okay? Mr. I love dogs and dogs are great and blah,
I mean,
blah,
I
blah.
am currently petting my dog.
Can we see the more respected and loved Ro?
Yes. This chair I'm in is a little bit too tall for her to stand on it, so I'm just going to... Ro. Hey, Ro.
Your dog's name is Ro?
Hey, Ro.
That's just awesome then.
Her name is Ro, yes. Short for Rowena.
Yeah, we don't need to know that.
Okay,
She is
so
the more respected and better loved Ro. Yes.
So the 2 remaining werewolves who are not feeling the heat of passion are going to both dive at the same time for Cork. So what do I need to roll here for these 2 werewolves, Ro?
To hit him?
Yeah.
12. He's a huge target. How could they miss?
Okay, a 12 and a 2.
They both attack together and one hits you, but the other one hits the one that hit you. and kind of falls off to the side.
So just one of them falls to the ground, not both?
Correct.
Okay. So now you have one on the ground again, and one who just reached out with their claws, scratched. You have a whole bloody thing across your chest now.
Is this his woman?
No, the woman she's holding back. She's letting her minions do the fighting.
Mm-mm. How long does this potion last?
We're gonna go with 10 minutes.
Okay.
So what are we going to do now, Pork? One on the ground, one just scratched your chest, and the love of your life standing back watching this in awe because
it's going to be awkward if that potion wears off mid-coitus.
Wow. All right. Cork is going to swing at the one in front of him while also trying to boot the one down on the ground.
So, or what, saying 12 and 13 again?
Sure.
13 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is a good night for rolling.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So does that mean you put the last two out of commission?
And it's just you and the girl of your dreams.
So she kind of takes a step back because you've just defeated 5 werewolves in, a minute or two. So she starts taking a couple steps back, looking over her shoulder. What does Cork do?
Cork is going to look at her. He's going to say, one thing I've learned in this life, one of the things my mom taught me is if you love someone, let them go. And you and I, this moment we have right here is the most beautiful thing I've ever felt. But I know that we're not right for each other long term. Like
one of the fairy creatures whose tree you just protected, Dave, pops out of their little tree and walks over to you with a little box and looks over at the woman of your affections and then back at you, kind of raises her eyebrows a little bit and holds the box for you to open.
Open the box.
There is a werewolf-sized razor in there. She says, "Take it," and then she scampers away.
Cork is going to hold the razor out and be like, what am I supposed to do with this?
It's a werewolf, man.
Well, he's going to toss it to the werewolf and say,
okay.
Good luck in all your future endeavors. I will always remember you. And then
so noble. So very noble.
All right. I don't think we ever had one in that way before. And I know we never had me roll that well. So,
Cork's a really good fighter.
That's what we'll go with. Okay, Ro, take it away.
I think everybody needs to know that Mike and I will be back. When is the next time we're back?
You are here.
June.
I will not be here.
On the 5th of June?
I will not.
Okay, I'll be back on the 5th of June.
Yeah, I'll be in New York.
With Dean Whitlock. That is next Thursday. So you have a whole week free of Mike and I. And if you are in the DC Dulles Airport area this weekend, we are going to be at the Big Lick Comic-Con Nova. So come in, say hi. Dave, where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing?
Well, tomorrow I will be releasing a novella. So you can definitely get that book on it's on Amazon for 99 cents if you want the ebook. You can buy paperbacks and hardcovers on Amazon as well. You can also get them from my website, which is what I like the best because I make a little bit more off of those. But that website is down there at the bottom, davelawsonauthor.com. You should definitely buy my books. I've got bundles where you can buy like both envoys and pawns and get like a little bit of a discount. It's the deal you've been waiting for your entire lives.
True.
And then after that, I will, let's see, not really doing anything right here in the next few days, but next week, my wife and I will be doing our embryo transfer for IVF on a week from yesterday, actually. So
good luck with that.
So-
That's a tension-filled kind of time.
yeah, so we've got our first one here in 6 days, and then we'll see how that goes. And then we've got several different trips and things like that planned over the next few months, and then lots of writing. My books are amazing. Definitely a good waste of your money, folks.
That is the most confidence I think we've heard out of anybody.
Yeah.
No, I'm reading a quote. It's in the comments.
Oh, okay.
So-
Right. Okay.
So Dave, you asked. So here is the creature that you came up with.
Yes, that is amazing.
So yes, that is the the Michael Angus.
Yes,
That
that is an amazing creature. That would absolutely destroy the Sandbony.
And the little orange lizard is the Rosaire.
Yes.
Obviously, I wasn't there to defend myself.
I did not get a choice. That is what they chose. So,
So rude.
but yes, so there you go. But before everyone goes, we're going to actually do a little promotion ourselves because we have books coming out. Dave has a book, but I'm going to share my screen again.
Dave had books now.
That's true. So Proxima Centaur or Proxima Station is my novella that's coming out July 25th.
Well,
I'm-
hold on there, Mike. I've just started editing this thing, and I think you might need to give yourself a little longer.
I don't listen to my editor. That's how I end up with the same chapter twice. So my book is going to be out July 25th. And hold on, Ro, do you have yours to share?
I thought you had it, so I didn't prepare it because, that's the way we are.
Well, I mean, we don't prepare. That's a given.
I'll get it next time.
Okay, and Ro has a book too, but he doesn't want to.
And I don't know when it's coming out yet, so it's fine. It's good.
And Joe, I will be in New York City for work function, and I will have no free time. So, but Joe, I do want to tell you that right there, center of my bookshelf behind me, I have a center spot there for Wistful Ascending, just waiting for it to arrive. Just saying.
So it can become decoration like all those other books.
That is my trophy shelf. Thank you very much. Almost all those books there I have read. So,
Okay.
and I trust you, Joe. I trust you. So yeah, Dave, when is book 2, The Scoundrels? When is that going to come out?
Probably sometime next year. I've got to write the thing. I mean, I've started, but I'm saying I'm gonna guess like probably maybe in late spring of 2026. Like I'd wanted this one here to come out on April 29th because that's my birthday, and I was like, I'll just have a birthday release. But I wasn't going to be quite ready yet, so I moved it back a month. But we're going for that. I've got a secret project that I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on too that might come out before
secret project
next year. It might even come out this year. A little bit of a secret project. But definitely excited to write book 2. And yeah, anyone in the chat, if you've read my book and you haven't rated it on like Goodreads yet, I've got 97 of them and I need 3 more.
Wow,
I be a real author.
I feel like I've been called out now.
Is that the cutoff, Dave? You need 100 to be a real author?
I'm just basically the real thing here is that my good friend ZB Steele now has 2 books with over 100 ratings, both of which were published after mine. And I want to be half as good as him. Just half. I'm good with just being half as good as him. So
Awesome. Well, Dave, thanks for being here, and thank you for ensuring our future citizens of this country actually know how to read. I don't know how you do it, but thank you for doing it. Appreciate it. Well done, you.
I have had a lot of amazing students over the years, and especially my drama kids the last few years have been the absolute best, and I'm very sad to have left them. And there's one who's been in the chat tonight because they are super cool and supportive, and some of my like biggest supporters as I was writing the books and everything. So thank you to all of them.
And the one in the chat, is she the one who read your book?
No, the one who read the books is another one. She has read Envoys all the way through, and I know she's read at least half of Pawns. But I've had some other ones who have purchased the book, and like won my giveaway. So some of them have the book, but the only one that I know who has read the book is one who was my senior this last year, and she graduated. But I know she's read Envoys, and she even made a Goodreads account to leave a review because she's that.
Well, and now knowing that, I apologize for trying to make you go totally blue there in the bald dome. And well done on you for not taking the bait.
Okay.
Good time. Good place to leave it, I think.
Yeah. So now it is time to wave awkwardly. Have you practiced your awkward wave, Dave?
I'm really good at the awkward wave.
Okay. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.